All right. Hey, guys. We are here for another episode of Ctrl-Alt-Reset, where we are challenging the materialist paradigm. I'm joined by my awesome compatriots. We got Jaime over here. We got Beth to my right, Steve to my left, and we are going to get at it. It's going to be an awesome episode. We are talking religion and spirituality. There are some big topics here. Let's just kind of go around the room and see what you guys feel. I think the first thing that we should kind of dive into is kind of just your experience with each one of those. Who wants to go first?
I go first.
All right, cool.
So religion and spirituality are not mutually exclusive.
Okay.
They are not the same thing. Religion can be a gateway to spirituality, but it's not, I don't want to say it's designed to not be, but it doesn't really have to be either. Religion's a man-made construct. And I'm sorry to say, my personal belief is that I believe that most of it is completely made up, fictional. And if it's not fictional, it's an exaggeration of some truth. And it's just retelling stories that are ancient stories before these things occurred.
Now, are those stories good?
No.
Like the original?
Because they contradict each other. And
so
there's no consistency. There's no consistency. There's a hardcore contradictions.
All right.
There's things that I found out to be completely, wildly inaccurate and completely false.
And what's your history with religion?
Oh, so I grew up in the LDS church, which is fine for the most part, I would say, but they have some beliefs that are detrimental to most people, and that includes women. So you have half the entire population that doesn't get to participate in...
Detrimental by limiting?
What's that?
Limiting, or like how would you explain detrimental?
Essentially, it's a patriarchal system, and it's never going to not be a patriarchal system.
Okay.
And it trivializes women. It trivializes people that don't look and believe just like they do. It's a system of separation. It believes in that God is separate from man. It believes that God is an individual being. It doesn't believe in the idea of unity consciousness. And if it does, it doesn't really talk about it. And again, the whole female thing, like we're all from source, so we're all the same light. How is female energy and spirituality and consciousness not part of religion?
Well, that's right. So now I think go into what spirituality means to you and how that kind of is different.
I think spirituality is remembering that we are in fact beings of light and that we are part of source and that we are divine by nature, always have been, always will be. No religion on earth or ridiculous man-made organization is going to say otherwise. And, spirituality to me is just kind of like remembering who we really are. If religion helps you get there, sure, that's great. But do you need it to get there? No.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a gateway drug.
It's a gateway. All right, how about you, Steve?
Well, for me, I grew up, was born into Christianity. My mom was really big on like going to church and going to Sunday school and all that. So I was into that, realm. But I never really truly believed. I think I was like, as a kid, I was like more agnostic, even like 8 years old. Cause like my mom
You didn't even believe it when your mom was like, this is...
I mean, probably, I asked more questions when I was like 18 years old. Like, why are we here? What is life all about? What's going on? But before that, I didn't like the fear factor of it, that, if you don't believe in Jesus Christ, you're going to burn in hell. Yeah. And I was like, what? That doesn't make sense to me. I probably saw that in another podcast. But so ever since then, I was like, And then I hated going to church, and they'd have to bribe me. Hey, Stephen, we'll get you a big gulp or a soda or something if you go to church, And then Sunday school was even more. And I was like, So I was pushing it away even as a young kid. And then, like when I said I was 18, I started asking more questions, and they didn't really have podcasts back then, but they had books, and you just talk to people of different religions and different beliefs. And then I would say I was agnostic for, I don't know, first 20 or so years. Then I was atheist for a while because I was all into like science and mathematics and hardcore, truth. And then later on, about 5 years ago, Donald Hoffman, talking about consciousness and talking about all the different ways that you can open up the mind and simulation theory. So that kind of opened me back up to being more agnostic again and being like open-minded to spirituality. Because like for years, I thought spirituality was like, I didn't like that word. The term was like too religious to me.
Sure.
But I think now it's kind of expanded into a whole nother realm of not really belief, but like almost truth in a sense. That there's different truths for different people. But with Gaia, watching Gaia and all those cool sci-fi kind of programs that actually combine science with, spirituality, I think it's awesome. So
nice.
That's kind of where I'm at now. And then I'm learning from you guys, especially Jaime, opening up the mind and different ideas to what you can't see, what you can feel it, but you just can't see it, So, and then of course UFOs goes into there. And
did you, as you were going through like the church, did you have any experiences that you kind of were like, there's something else there, or no, you were just totally kind of like, this is just an activity that I can choose to go to or not?
I think for me, it was just another activity.
Okay.
I think for other people, I think they truly believe though.
Yeah.
I can see it in their face and their, body posture or whatever. But I think some people, they want you to think they truly believe, but maybe they really don't. They're kind of doubting themselves, but they have to keep up appearances and, go because, my neighbor goes and my mom goes and this and that, rat-tat-tat-tat. So, yeah, but for me, I didn't think it was a joke. I just thought like, these people believe this. And I'm like, it didn't really resonate with me. And, but you guys resonate with me more than
Nice.
the church. So,
nice.
But like Jaime said, whatever helps you be a better person, I think that's good.
Yeah.
If it's Christianity or Muslims or whatever it is, Mormonism, then do it. But just be open-minded, I would say.
Yeah.
Be open-minded. And so that's what I've really worked with. It's just being way more open-minded. Because as an atheist, you're kind of closed-minded a little bit. Because you're like, that can't be real. And, there's no way. The Bible's stupid. And too many like miracles and talking to snakes. And what the hell's going on walking on water? That's not true. But maybe it is,
Yeah.
Maybe it is true, some of it.
All right. Beth?
I have so much to say.
All right, I know, me too. We don't have to do it all in order from here on out.
Yeah.
But I think, getting everybody's individual perspective helps the audience at least know where we're coming from. So.
Okay. First, probably just disclaimer is like, we're not dissing religion
We are
in
not.
any way.
Nope.
This is a complete discussion of just kind of definitions and how people feel and the change that's happening right now in the consciousness and maybe not even in the perspectives, as we were talking about before. So I've had this conversation a lot with people and friends and family, and religion is to me like a religion. It's an allegiance to something outside of yourself and to maybe the fear factor and the greed and the power. And so you can even date it back to the Romans, where kind of I feel this has all started, is for power, money, greed of mankind, and something that has been happening in what you would say like the cycles of humankind. It's definitely not a religion as you would want it to be. And it's come to where there's lots of, like Jaime said, possible lies and deception. And the fear factor, I think, is part of our human consciousness that keeps us at a low vibration. And where I would hope that even if people hear this conversation could kind of pull away from and realize that there is more out there and it's okay not to have to follow and have allegiance to something or someone else outside of yourself. And so I think that's where spirituality comes in, is it's your spirit, that we are all a spirit and we come from a spirit. And so if you wanted to define that, that's how I would define it, as spirituality is something inside of me. And I'm not going to give allegiance to anyone else to tell me how I can and cannot believe. It doesn't take money. It doesn't take power. It doesn't take greed, fear, anger, and all of those low vibrations. And So yeah, I do have a strong feeling on that. And so I create my own religion. Some people have said, I just had this conversation with a friend the other day, that my spirituality is my religion. And I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That I've created my own thing, that I believe in my true self, in my higher self, and with friends, and that we all resonate to this different vibration that is my spirituality. It's not that I don't believe in a Jesus Christ, or I was raised Catholic. It's not that I don't believe in something. It's just not what the dogma has taught me. And that there is more out there that, like Steve said, we cannot see. There's more happening in the universe, and it does happen to all relate into aliens and the atmosphere, the outer world, everything. I was just researching too about the cycle of Aquarius and how Aquarius is actually.
And we're in that, right?
We're at the very, very cusp of it.
Yeah.
The lines kind of get blurred since it is such a huge cycle, 26,000 years. How can you pinpoint that to a month or a day or a year?
Yeah.
But we are coming into that if we're not already in it. And that actually, if you research it, brings in spirituality, which is fascinating that it's actually happening. We can feel it, right? So that's...
Do you think that you said that you are creating or that spirituality is your religion? Do you have to have a religion? Like, what is spirituality making, like, how do you embody spirituality into a religion? Like, is it just the practices? Is it the books that you're reading? Is it the passing down of knowledge between people, the spreading of goodwill and doing good onto other, like, all of that is spirituality and like practicing oneness. But I don't know, do you have to put it inside like a box?
Never.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to define it, like, I don't know the true definition of religion.
I think that's what I'm getting.
Yeah, but I think everybody's spirituality or practice, even in religion, everybody's practice is different, right? Whether you're Hindu or Buddhist or Catholic or whatever, Mormon.
So here's how I can explain that I know religion is a man-made construct. So let's say that you're in the ocean, right? And you're with a group of whales. And you can feel the consciousness of those whales. You know those beings are spiritual beings too. Yeah. If you presented the idea of religion to them, they're going to be...
They literally are going to go...
So, I mean, think about that. Like, extrapolate that idea to, like, literally any animal on the planet, and the animal's going to be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks anyways. And then go back to it, an animal thing. And that doesn't mean that it's any less spiritual.
Yeah. I think a little bit of that is because the human condition, as we've been evolving, likes structure. We gravitate at some level to things with structure. Like I myself at this point in my life, if things are like, if I have to learn something, I got to put a structure around it. Beth hates that. Every time I give her like some sort of structure, you're like, what the fuck is this? Get rid of it.
You're an AI.
And I think that that's kind of just inherent to some people, not everybody. But I think that when we look at religion, I think that a lot of the initial beginnings of religion comes from a good place, comes from, if Jesus Christ was real, which I believe, and I'm not, like I was Christian when I was growing up. I went to church every Sunday. I didn't even think that it was anything other than just being nice to one another. Like we would sing songs, we would shake hands, we'd eat some food, go on church retreats and stuff and have fun. I never thought that there was anything beyond that. And in that, I was like, okay, well, I don't have time to go and do all that stuff anymore. So it was like really easy to be like, well, I'll pass. But then as I started in like the last year or two, understanding my own spirituality, and it started from a place of presence. It started from a place of like where I was going to like conferences, like landmark education. Like that was kind of the beginning for me when I was like 28, where they're talking about a lot of things like theology and philosophy and like be present and don't let your ego, come in and hijack your life. Everything that you're doing is really right now. And so when I approach the conversation of religion versus spirituality, religion didn't help me see that whole world existed until I broke away from it and then independently discovered this stuff on my own. And through meditation and reading books. And it was very much like choose your own adventure. And it still is. And that's, I think, what is so exciting about it. Where if I compare that to established religion, there's a book that says, this is how you have to act. These are the things that you have to do. And if you don't, you need to be afraid because you're going to go to hell or wherever, or you're not going to get your 40 virgins or like 72. Whatever it is
72.
That people are, 72, okay, sorry. Whatever it is, there's something to make you act good. And that's like war against war. You can't force good behavior. Like that has to sprout naturally. And so I think that if, kids are indoctrinated into a religion, they don't know any better and they may not have the fear. It really depends on who their seminar leader or seminal leaders, I don't know what the word is, but priests or maybe pastors, their parents, pastors. I know some pastors that are amazing. They sacrifice their life to do good. They take job cuts. Like I was talking to my counselor and her son is a pastor. He's like, I just feel like something is pulling me. And so he moved without any job, moved his whole family to a small little town where his wife's dad had just passed away. And he's like, I don't know what's going on. Turns out like his truth, his belief in the goodness of humanity was so strong within a month, the old church had lost all of its members and gave the lease to him for free.
Wow.
And this last weekend, the whole church was full. So in that, I see that if you are pushing love, and not pushing, but speaking about it, showing, you always got to show. You can't force someone to love. You have to love, and then you hope that they see, oh, maybe I could be more like that. And then that's when the universe shows you more. And so, I love spirituality. I'm totally spiritual. I don't care if there isn't really any dogma to it, is there?
Nope.
No.
Or there shouldn't be, yeah.
Well, I mean, I think sometimes it's getting there. If you open any TikTok channel or YouTube channel, I think there's a lot of, currently, it's like a fad.
What do you think is causing that? Ego?
Yeah.
The human element?
Yeah. Everybody wants to be famous kind of thing. And so there's a lot to sort through and discern truth. But if you find good intention, I think that's what you were kind of getting at just now, is the intention of good.
Yeah. Any other thoughts?
So an interesting point was that I remember I looked back in my mind back when I was going to church, and I thought to myself then, what would I believe if I didn't believe this? I'd probably believe a bunch of kooky, hokey crap, whatever. But I didn't realize how much more I would learn by expanding.
By not having it fed to you.
What's that?
By not having it fed to you.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that I thought being part of that organization required me to be open-minded.
Really?
That's really what I thought. You have to be open-minded to be part of this organization. But in reality, it's open-minded, but only this much.
Only to them. Yeah.
Everything else, only look at this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's open, but not really.
Only to
I
that
like
one
your
idea.
point where you're like, it was about separateness. And I feel that that is very true about a lot of religions. You know, the whole Crusades were killing hundreds of thousands, millions of people, I don't even know how many, in the name of God.
Yeah, but
What's happening right now?
But it's not. It's in the name of the humans who... Oh. There's a fly.
He's punching the mic.
In the name of what they are saying. Like, you need to kill in the name of God because, like, how can you even take the word of God, of oneness, of just oneness, and say that you need to kill these other people because they don't think that?
So there's like 2 points to that. Who gets to speak for God?
Yeah.
Like, seriously, who?
Yes.
The people that speak for God do it behind closed doors. You don't get to see any of the transcripts, if there's such a thing. Everything that they say that you should believe is going to be validated only after you die.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, you're going to get paid, but you're going to get paid when you die. So keep working.
Yeah.
That's what it's like.
Yeah. And that's is that the honesty? Is that the only way to do religion that doesn't hurt people?
So, I mean, think about it. Maybe, but like, I don't think that religion can exist without lies.
Ooh.
So think about that. Remember that whole idea of like removing the ability to lie?
Yeah.
What would happen to religion as a whole if you removed the ability to lie? How long would that survive? And it goes back to like what you were just saying about how people do things in the name of God. People have justified all kinds of crazy crap throughout history, like you said, the Crusades, slavery, anti-social programs, things like civil rights. You know, the Christians in that time, no, blah blah blah. You know, the very separatist idea that like if you're whatever you say you are, that somehow you're separated, and that you are somehow elevated above everyone else. And none of that is true. Like, that's completely fictional. And chances are you probably have to pay money to get to that position.
Tithing.
So you don't think that we could, if all of this bullshit was just blown away and we were given the opportunity, okay, what do we want to create from a practice? What do we want to create from a scripture perspective? Like, and I don't mean like old writings, but like lessons that someone who is brand new to the world can read and be like, okay, I get that we're all one. I get that like love is the ultimate, act. And it wouldn't have any of that hierarchy. It would have, we're all at the same level. We all just are practicing love and meditation. And you don't think that there could be a religion like that?
It could be.
Yeah.
But I feel like it would have to be a religion about acknowledging yourself as being divine first.
Why would you have to create anything?
Yeah, I don't know. I would most likely be a school.
But why that? The world is our school.
How do you learn?
The fact of creating something is the problem.
Yeah.
The freedom is the answer.
But how do you learn something if you're a little kid that doesn't have...
There was an interview with Stephen Hawking, and I remember it like it was yesterday. He said that his parents never said no to him, and that made his mind expansive. And so he never had constraints, or the no as the answer. So therefore, I feel that made him smarter. And his brain never had the box like your religion did. And so to be able to go into the world and find out for yourself is the answer. You don't need a context. You don't need your AI. A bullet point.
I guess I get what you're saying, because as
you show by example.
As you're talking about that, you show by example, but you can't give someone a book to read and now they are in tune with God.
Why?
They might know what you've written, but like what you're saying is that they need to experience it for themselves, right?
The world.
The world. And
you don't need a book to read.
Right. Okay. I get that.
I think also organized religion, it like doesn't like you to question things because it has this set rules, and if you go against them, it's like it's not good, right? So I think it kind of like leads to corruption at the top, where they like to control the masses and they use religion as a crutch to kind of like, show people what they should be doing. But really, like she said, you don't need rules, So I think that's good.
So an interesting idea is that, like, I've heard that, like, when people talk to, like, cosmic beings and whatever, higher dimensional beings, they don't have a religion. They know of Source, and they acknowledge Source, but they don't, like, worship Source. It's like, oh, God, we're worshiping.
Because it's within them.
What's that?
It's within them.
I've read a book, The Law of One, called, like, the Book of Ra, and those beings did have a religion, and their religion was, we are all one. And like, the highest level of practice of worship was to, and so they had worship, they had, and there were, Dolores Cannon, she has some, like, stories in her books about people who she would hypnotize, and they would recount past lives, and some of the beings that came through them were here to spread the word of God, of oneness. And so in the galaxy, it very much was evidence that they do have a religion.
That's what Jesus was trying to teach, and it got distorted.
Yes.
Right. I think that's kind of what I was getting at, in the sense that they don't have an organized religion in the sense of, like, we do.
There's no power struggle.
Right.
Right. So, everybody's equal.
As long as you acknowledge Source as your source, your light, your, beginning and end, I guess, then sure.
That's pretty much the only rule, right?
I like Bob Marley. Love is my religion.
Oh, yeah,
nice.
yeah. I just watched
I thought
that
you were
movie
going to say,
the other
don't worry,
night.
be happy.
Great, right?
That was good.
But no, like he has a very simple point, because that love vibration is where we all need to be. And when we're all vibrating on that, like, we'll all kind of get it, right?
I was watching our episode, like the first one that I had you on,
Yeah.
and you had said that you are able to live your daily life without fear, right?
Yes.
Like, I
the most
feel that so much of everybody else lives in kind of a constant state of fear these days. And to break free of that means going against your religion or going against pretty much everything that's being shoved down your throat these days. So you really can't listen to anybody if you want to love yourself and be free of fear, and evolve to Beth status.
No, not even close. Fear is like the lowest vibration, though, truly. And I think that when I say they very loosely, the creators of religion, right, knew that.
Yes.
And so to instill fear on the masses was the end goal, fear and control.
Yeah.
And so to lift that fear, I guess I ask you, Matt, like, this has been a question of mine for a long time, is how to help others, I don't want to say out of religion, but more open and to question things and to have a more spiritual sense.
Right.
And again, disclaimer, religion is amazing if it's helping you in any way.
Right.
Be a better human and a steward of this planet.
Yeah.
But I think that now is a time that we're coming into starting to question things, to be able to drop that fear, raise your vibration, allow, like Stephen Hawking, a little bit more open mind, and to let things in that you didn't even know were possible.
Yes.
So how?
I lead by example. That's
Good
pretty
answer.
much, because as I was starting this podcast, I talked it over with my sister, and me and my sister are really, really close. And I started talking to her. I'm like, I want to make people think differently. And she's like, hold on a second. You might want to tone that down, because if you're trying to force people to do stuff, they're going to listen to your thing once and they'll be like, wrong. So I quickly realized, and, thank you, Kathy, for telling me, setting me straight. It was something that it's for me. This whole podcast is for me. And when I recognized that, and so many epiphanies, so many breakthroughs have happened because I am taking it on as my responsibility to be more loving and to be more accepting and to show the responsibility of being a person in this oneness.
So this is your church?
Yeah.
This is my, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Church is someplace that I go, or not that I go, that people go once a week. I think we're in this 24 hours a day, 365. Mm-hmm. And the more you're able to, I don't know if anyone's watched the other episode with Jimmy, where he spent like a year in a monastery. He's like, pissing is a meditation. Shitting is a meditation. Like every act that you do is a meditation and a way to be in tune with God.
And with the current moment, too.
If I can do that, well, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how do you think this current moment is affecting people? I mean, you kind of alluded to it a little bit, where it's kind of time to let people know that there are other options, different perspectives, all with the purpose of love.
Mm-hmm. And that it's okay. I would talk to my mom a lot about this, and raised Catholic, things like Reiki are frowned upon, and things like that, where you'd have to go ask your priest if it was okay to do because it's black magic or whatever. And it kind of reminds me too of back in the day when they would burn witches at the stake, right? Well, all that were females using their power and males not liking it, or people not liking that kind of power, whether they were meditating or whatever they were doing, or just using their own intuition. Everything has been just stifled for too long, and it's now coming out, and what a wonderful world we're living in to be able to see it come out. But be free and be okay with it. What I was saying is people are just so scared of, they're indoctrinated with the whole heaven hell fear of the afterlife, fear of what's going to happen to me if I don't go to church on Sunday or wherever you visit. Fear of being killed.
So a quick little side note that I just thought of. I think that religion has created such an unbelievable high fear for a lot of people, especially when it comes to death and the afterlife and whatever, that I watch these shows with these people. I can't remember who was specifically. I need to pull that up. But this person connects with spirits. And one of the things that came up was a transition. Some of these people are so afraid of death, they literally pass out and miss the entire experience. Like that's how...
Of death?
What's that?
Of the transition.
They miss the entire experience. I'm sure they wake up moments later, but...
above their body or something.
Yeah. But the entire experience of transitioning, they completely miss it.
So how terrible if that they're in religion their whole entire life and they're still so scared to pass.
Yeah.
What good is this doing?
It's doing none. So here's the thing. So the illusion of hell creates the idea that there is a possibility of hell.
Yeah.
And so these people go through religious organizations their entire life with zero validation of any kind, that they're going to go into heaven or hell.
Yes, the front row.
All right, thanks. So I think that's an awesome point, is that religion has created this dichotomy of good versus evil. And part of oneness is that within each of us is good and bad. Yeah. It isn't good or bad, but the church preaches, or religions have preached, this is what you should be like. And the unfathomable consequence of that is that by defining a set of values or behaviors that are good, you maybe unknowingly or knowingly have also defined a set of behaviors that are bad. And through my development, I know that I am God experiencing life through Matt. It is experiencing what it is to be Matt. It's also experiencing Steve and Beth and Jaime and murderers and saints, and all with the understanding that it's all an experience and there's no good or bad. And so I feel that as someone has gone through a religious indoctrination, they inherently get taught to hate a side of themselves. And because when you were saying, like, you do all these good things or otherwise you're going to go to hell. I'm not in a religion, but when I don't meditate, I feel like I'm bad. I feel like I'm not doing it good enough.
It's still ingrained.
It's still in me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel that way when I don't work out or something like that. I feel like, I'm like wasting my own
Guilt.
body and I need to get healthy.
Yeah.
And you feel guilty for not working out for like a week.
Yeah.
So it could be anything, not just going to church or meditating or whatever.
I know.
You know what else? I had a crazy thought the other day. When you're even starting in grade school, your school is a rivalry with the next school. They're teaching this at such a young age. Competition and that we're better, this school versus this school or whatever. And it goes into college, and then it even goes into workplaces where it's just crazy. And then that rolls over into religion, right? So Catholics are better than Protestants, and Jews are better than that. Like, it just, wow, like we are taught to hate the other, to hate your neighbor, and that really needs to stop. Like, why are we being rah against someone that's just similar as us? And it makes zero sense, and that's what I hope to can diminish in this new cycle.
That's a really good point, because I remember back when I started to become consciously aware of a lot of the doctrines in the church, 13, 14 years old, whatever, when I started, I guess, pay more attention and people started to tell me things, that I didn't like who I was. Like, I could never live up to that fictional construct that they made up about being perfect. And it's like, I'm never gonna be perfect. Nope. Why am I even gonna pretend it to be perfect? How stupid. And it's like, and then what? And then what?
Right.
Then you go to heaven in your mansion and then you live happily ever after? That's not my reality, screw that. If that's the reality in the afterlife, I will do something else.
I'm a whale.
Yeah.
I agree.
What'd you say, Maddie?
All right, so if we look at what this impact is in our daily lives, like some religious people go to a monastery. Let's take what I would consider is an okay religion, which is Buddhism.
Now you're labeling.
I am. That's right. Yeah. So
it's not really a religion, but it's a way.
So there's better religions than others.
So the reason I think of that is because what I've been fed is a whole bunch of people in Tibet just meditating.
Right.
They're like the most peaceful people.
That's your perspective.
That's my perspective. But, you're right. I was talking with this other guy. He's like, they leave their families to go do that. So at the same time of practicing their peaceful religion, they have now broken up their home and caused a family to go without a dad or a mom or something like that. Yeah, okay, so that's not good. But in terms of everyday life, they practice meditation,
mindfulness,
I don't know.
But you could say so do other religions. I mean, through prayer.
Yeah.
That's all that is. Prayer is meditation. And so we're just guessing.
I'm guessing. Yeah, I know. I'm a little bit of, a lot of me is ignorant. And so I have ideas that are not established in much.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think Buddhism is
like the daily.
It's a way of thinking. It's not really religion. But if I had to choose one way of thinking, it would probably be closer to Buddhism, just because I think they got a lot of stuff right as far as the spirituality is concerned. You don't need to go to a church to belong. You can just be independent upon yourself and directly connect with God or source. So I like that about it.
And I think that they also embody the fact that the human element, the human condition, is one that also creates this separation.
Yeah.
Like just your ego, there is something that is a lifelong endeavor to not control, but like accept that it has these behaviors. Mm-hmm. And to be aware, okay, I know that the being human and my ego likes to do this. So I can kind of have a step back or, a grander view and choose, well, I'm not going to be competitive with this guy because that's not really in line with my spirit, even though my ego really wants to compete. Mm-hmm.
So something I noticed as well growing up is that like at a really young age, I want to say like 8, 9, 10 years old, I started to get my first psychic impressions. And they were little things like I'd be walking home and I know something was going to happen when I got home. I just knew things before it happened, right?
What do you call them?
Premonition.
Premonition. Okay. Right.
Premonition. I call them psychic impressions, whatever.
Okay.
I would just know little things and either before they happen or just things like that, right? I brought up the topic of psychics and mediums to somebody when I was in the church, and they're like, oh no, that's all satanic, that's all evil. So it's kind of ironic that like church demonizes natural spirituality. It literally demonizes spirituality because unless you go through their hoops to validate spirituality, then it's so-called demonic.
Well, we just talked about that it's a cover-up. I think this is one of the biggest wool over your eyes in human history, is the layout of what's so-called religion, like I said, starting back in year 5, whatever. It's just absolutely because they, again, quote unquote, they didn't want us as a collective to know our own true power.
Right.
And so they will demonize anything that's truth. And I think I've said that to you before, where I feel like we live in an upside down world. So anything that is demonized is the truth.
Another thing that you can look at is look at the fruits, right? Look at the fruits of the organizations, look at the fruits of the people individually. And I'm not talking about like, do they have a nice house and do they have a nice car and do they have a nice building down the street? Look at the people individually and look at their fruits. And look at the organization's fruits. What do they stand up for? What do they stand up against? Look at all those things collectively.
And then maybe you can make a...
And you'll be surprised how little they actually stand up for humanity as a whole.
Yeah.
But they get free taxes. Tax-free, baby.
What's that?
Tax-free.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if you guys ever knew about this. Like, it's the first civilization or like the first structure, megalith structure that had been discovered. And it was like 8,000 BC. 7,500 years before the pyramids.
Whoa.
Like 6,000 years before Stonehenge. And it's like Goatl Paka. I can't even remember what the name is.
Are you talking about
There you go.
Which one?
Göbekli Tepe.
Yeah, okay.
Göbekli Tepe. And
Close enough.
Gob blap blap blap. I can do the gob. There you go. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Totally random. But they figured out that, the whole idea of civilization was, okay, we started as hunters, and then we settled down to be hunter-gatherers. But with this structure, they think that the first reason why people started settling down and going against their hunting nature was because of religion, was because they were worshiping something. And these structures had like big T shaped like rock structures that kind of looked like, a cross or not a cross, but just a T. And it kind of was like facing each other. So it's interesting that the whole idea of why people commune and come together from being hunters is to worship, is to do something that is an acknowledgement of the grander, scope of their reality.
Do you believe that they maybe knew things that we don't? Like, we always say that like Atlantis knew about the higher consciousness and the power of the mind. And so maybe they knew that in groups they were stronger and their creation was stronger. And so let's say you meditate 500 people versus 5, you can get a better response. This is just came to my head. So it's something I've thought about before, but what if, I'm just saying what if, because I truly believe that, I don't really believe in the whole, like we are apes and then, we are where we are now. I really do believe we are starseeds. And so maybe they were told that, and I really do believe that religion is based off the stars and astronomy and how everything revolves around the constellations and the zodiacs. And so maybe they were just worshiping the stars and saluting the sun.
I think that's very a realistic possibility.
Just a guess.
But like, throughout history, we've been told that they've worshipped the sun, they've worshipped the stars, they worshipped the earth, the trees, they worshipped everything.
Right, because that what brings it into existence.
All right.
I think they also worship things they don't know about yet, kind of like the unknown. So the stars, they don't know what it is. So it's like, okay, let's worship them.
But maybe they did.
Huh?
Maybe they knew that's where they came from.
Maybe, yeah. It
But maybe
reminds me
they
of that
did.
one movie, remember iRobot?
I guess we'll know soon enough, right? Because
Right.
we'll all be like,
If the chemtrails would stop, we could.
Goddamn chemtrails.
But yeah, in the movie iRobot, they have the robots and they put them in this like box, right? And then they all
Yes.
gather together.
Yeah.
And he was like, what the heck? That's like a human trait. What is going on? So the gathering together could be like a just consciousness thing itself.
I
don't know.
Maybe.
I think you're
Like a
right.
magnet?
Yeah. No, I think that consciousness does want to be together.
Right, because it's stronger.
Yeah. And they didn't know what it was. They just felt it.
Or they did know.
So I
Or
think
they
that
didn't.
like
That's right. Or
ancient
they did
civilizations
know. That's
probably
right.
knew spirituality way more than we even do right now.
Way, way more.
Here in South America, North America, Egypt, Asia, I feel like they were truly connected. And we are kind of just plain pretend.
Yeah.
And we use this construct of religion as a mechanism for that pretense. I think that instinctually, everybody knows that they're a spiritual being. They just don't consciously know that. Until, they have some kind of experience, some kind of event, whatever kind of event it might be, out of body, they see a spirit, they get some kind of premonition that happens, something that will indicate to them that they're much larger or connected to something larger than just themselves.
Did you ever see, sorry, I totally interrupted your thought.
I'm sorry?
Did you ever see Wall-E?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, the scene where the screens go down, they're in like those little chairs that fly around, and they have their screens, and the screens go down, and they're like, I have a pool,
Yeah.
like, right? And
Yeah.
the awareness came.
Yeah.
And so do you feel like we're so distracted? This is kind of piggybacking off what you were saying, is that we're so distracted and so like in this mind trap with our current era that we don't even see that we have a pool. And what I'm trying to say is that we're just so Eva, we're so just taken up and like they again just trying to fill us so we don't look and see that we have this other way
Yes.
that we're like, whoa,
Yeah.
I actually have these powers in this consciousness and this spirit that you were talking about. that I didn't even know I could use because I've just been in my box and I never got to look out of it or take the time or even think that I could.
I totally agree, because being a human, you can live life pretty fully
in this rat race.
And never even question, is this really all that there is? Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't. And so it does take something to be like, whoa, the screen's off, or a near-death experience, or an out-of-body experience. Mm-hmm. You had a near-death experience, right?
No, I've had outer body.
Out-of-body, okay.
No death.
Do you want to talk about that now, or?
No.
Okay, all right. All right, cool. I mean, I think we're coming up on time, but I think, what are some final thoughts, because I want to make sure that we do lead out of like just what we're doing, like lead by example. So what are maybe some things that we can share that you're doing to make your own meaningful path?
I think the golden rule: treat others how you want to be treated. Mm-hmm. Because with consciousness, they say we're all connected, right? So if I treat him bad, I'm actually treating myself bad as well, because we're all connected. So, if you're in traffic or whatnot, don't worry about road rage. Just, maybe that guy's having a bad day. Let him in. Just be like, just take a breather, breathe, meditate, relax, and just have empathy. Treat people with kindness. Be open-minded, I would say, as well. So if you're in a religion and they're telling you not to question things, maybe question that religion. If you question your religion and your belief gets stronger, that's probably a good thing. If you question your religion and it gets weaker, probably not such a good thing. So question everything.
Cool.
I would love for everyone to feel absolute autonomy and freedom. And so to live that way and embody freedom of mind, ego, everything, it's a different place to live from. And so I don't know if people are going to truly understand what I'm trying to say, but just absolutely living out of the constructs that are forced on us. And just, I think, piggybacking Steve, is to question absolutely everything, and asking why not, right? Mm-hmm. And so for me, I just try to live every day as the best I can as a human. We all are in our human bodies and are here for a purpose we are experiencing. So we do have our own pain and our own grief and our own guilt and those things, but trying to live life with a purpose and figuring out why we're here, and to pass on our gifts. That's it. But freedom, I think, is what I'm going to leave you guys with.
Awesome.
I like it.
Jaime?
I want to piggyback on what Steve said about the idea of unified consciousness. I think that once people realize that everyone is really a reflection of them, then they're going to treat that reflection the way they treat their own, their own reflection. Some of us came down to life to do exactly that, to be a mirror for others. And it pisses a lot of people off. So there's that. I think after the human transition, the collective upgrade, whatever you want to call it, that there might be a new religion that forms, but it's going to be based on, like what you said, love and unity and acceptance and kindness and acknowledging that we're all one being with infinite views. And something like going to church and whatever is going to be an obsolete construct, because why would you need to go to a building to do something that you're already doing every day, like you said? Yeah. Some people go to church for 1 hour a day, and some people live it every single day.
Good point.
I like that.
I like that too. I love that you both brought out the do unto others as others would have you do to whatever it is. Like, you know,
we won't be fooled again.
We won't.
Exactly, Tempe.
Can't fool me again.
Fool me once. We won't be fooled again. George Bush.
Just appreciating the differences that make up everybody, because without this, life would be so boring. And just live. I'm trying to live the life that I want to live and to be the person that I want to be. I don't need anybody to tell me, or any scripture or book to tell me how I want to be, because I feel being good feels great. And the more I do it, the more I meditate, the more I'm in touch with the oneness that we all are, the more I accept the flaws that are inherently me, because I'm human. I'm good and I'm bad. The fact that I hate myself, but I also love myself, is just, that's what this experience is about. And so when I go from hate of you or me and flip it on its head and be like, I can choose my reaction to anything. I can choose to love. And when I choose to love when someone has done something bad to me, that makes me feel good. It makes me feel I'm not on the same level that they're at.
You chose the high road.
I chose the high road. And you know what? I think and I'm not going to tell anybody to do what I do, but I'm just saying it feels good. So
be good.
Be all good and feel good and do whatever.
It's all good in the hood.
It's all good. Also, I'll leave you with in every spiritual text or religious text that has ever been created, there is a comment like you had said, where it's like, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And it's a lot of it is, don't treat people badly if you don't want to experience that. So it's kind of like the negative, but anything that I talk about, I always frame in a positive way. I tell my kids all the time, okay, you forgot to bring your homework. I'll make sure I don't forget.
It's a negative.
No.
Yeah.
What will you do? And so I think coming at life with, what do you want? And I think that's what we're all kind of dealing with right now, is a whole bunch of people saying, I don't want that. And it's a whole government system telling each other they don't want what the other one. Well, what do we want? Let's all be unified.
That's a really good point. Imagine ordering a pizza like that. Like, no, I don't want that pizza.
Yeah.
Nope, next, I don't want that pizza.
Yeah.
It's like, just say the one you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird.
It's
Your life
complicated.
is a pizza. Order what you want. All right.
One more thing.
Okay,
thing.
go.
Maybe we could save this for the next
No,
podcast.
that's fine,
But 3-Eye Atlas, and how it might change the paradigm of like what religious people think, and like, what if it's aliens? What if it's a mothership? What if this, that? So maybe we could talk that next time. But
I don't know.
It could wake some people up to certain things.
Could be.
And Beth was talking about how it's just waking people up right now
Yes.
to certain consciousness levels, and so.
Yeah.
Great conversation. I think December 19th is the portal.
Is it?
Or something.
Okay.
Yeah, which,
I need to get all my money out of the stock market.
yeah.
I can't lose any more money. I've already lost everything. No,
After that, I would love to share my pilgrimage
okay.
with the
Awesome.
audience after.
I would love that.
too. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for being with me.
You're welcome.
I thought this time with you was really special. And
Always.
thanks for sharing with us your time. Take care. All right. Sweet.